morning and welcome. Patriot News Hour, Joe and Jason. Happy Friday. Yeah, we made it through another week. What a week. I mean, think about this. We had MLK, the inauguration. We had executive order after executive order, threats of tariffs, Nazi salutes, I guess, if right, Elon Musk, I don't know. He's kind of a weird guy. We got deportations starting to happen. Talk about, we got a peace deal. Kind of, sort of, I think, in Israel, and what's going to happen with Ukraine. I can't wait for next week. I mean, that was just a couple of things. I mean, that's a lot. That's like half a month, half a year's worth of stuff, all in just a week. I know, right? I can't wait for work to be over. Go right to the shots of Jack Daniels and try to relax a little bit. Hopefully it'll warm up. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll hope. I'm pretty sure I heard good things about not this week, but the week after. Things are going to start warming up. It's actually beautiful. I don't mean to brag, but it is beautiful in the Valley of the Sun, right, I'm going to say after 10 o'clock, right? Like, I drive to work. I'm going to work early in the morning. It's like in the 30s, which that's cold for here. But after that, you know what? You're in the 60s, upper 60s, low 70s. Get out there. I'm going to play some golf. I'm going to try to relax. But before we do, we got one more show to do, and it's going to be another great one, 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. Yesterday I said, hey, we're going to do some 2025 Silver Eagles. I'm going to put that on hold because I've got something better. If you're big into the old dollars, the old Morgan and Peace dollars, write the number down, 800-951-0592. We got a great opportunity coming for you, and supplies will be limited, but, hey, that's how it goes. AllAmericanGold.com is the website. You can go out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We put all kinds of articles and videos, most of the vast majority of them, and I mean the vast majority of them, we don't talk about on the show. You don't get it. So get out there and get yourself even more educated. And as we kind of look at today, we had an interest rate hike from the Bank of Japan. The highest rates are kind of funny because I think they're at 1% or something. But the highest rates in 17 years. And, of course, we've been talking about Japan. Their balance sheet is so big. Here's the problem for them. That automatically makes most of their balance sheet a loser, right? The higher the rates go, the more the losses. But, hey, who cares? They defied. Remember yesterday, Donald Trump, I'm demanding rates go down. And I demand it globally. Japan said, hey, loved it. Wish we could do it. Unfortunately, inflation continues to be a problem, blah, 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 blah. And plus, let's face it, no one wants their currency. I mean, that's kind of the biggest problem in Japan is nobody wants the currency, but they say they're in a vicious cycle where higher salaries fuel rising prices. And this is the need to raise rates. So I guess Japan is saying, hey, we love this growth thing you guys keep talking about. But if we got to keep paying workers more so they can actually buy stuff, yeah, then we got to have a quote-unquote vicious cycle, Jason.
Yeah, it's a game, isn't it, Joe? It's just a game for those. And it sucks because, like we're looking at Americans today, and 7% mortgage rates. Maybe it's going to be 8, maybe it's going to be 9 or 10. and the whole thing with things we talk about every day, and we know where it's going to go, Joe. We know it's going to go. Things are going to break. There's going to be some winners. There's going to be some losers. Probably more losers than winners, and it's just going to be hard for the average American to continue to just put food on the table and pay rent. That's the end. That's the end result, right, Joe? At the end of those games,
that's what happens. Yeah. I mean, already. So some of the other things, we won't dive into them a whole lot, but minimum payments on credit cards. Right, that's never a good thing, right? If you're making the minimum payment, man, yeah, that's not smart money management, right? That's not how you need to operate. But when we look at this now, this is kind of the latest thing of how close are we? We don't know. Which tells me this: if we don't pay more money, we're going to have big problems. We're going to be in this vicious cycle, but almost 11% now of people with credit cards are only making the minimum payment. That is the highest levels since they've been tracking this data. That when you think about, that tells you, 11% of the people that got credit cards. Think about it, everyone's got credit cards. Right? I mean, more people got a credit card than subscribe to Netflix. That's a big problem. That is a very, very big problem. So what's the solution? Well, either figure out how to spend less money or what? Get paid more money. Either way, things just get more expensive. Patriot Radio News Hour will be back. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on this Friday. And, right, people are like, golden summer, what do I do with it? Put it away.
You save it.
Put it away. Save it. For what? For when you need it, right? Something that's not in the system. Listen, the system can be really good, right? It can be. We've seen it be great, right? But it can be really bad, too. And we see these boom and bust cycles. I mean, why do we have boom and bust cycles? Well, because we let the Federal Reserve, this private bank, run this economy. And they've decided that, we just don't like the normal ebb and flow that are economies, right? Sometimes it's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, right? Some things do good, some things do bad. And they're like, no, we can prevent all this. Really? That sounds great. Man, you can prevent that? Yes, we can. Really? Tell us how. How can you do it? Oh, simple. We'll just increase the money supply whenever things start to get bad. And if they get too good, we just raise the rates. See? It's fine. And there was one other part. Oh, yeah. And when things are good, you pay back the money you borrowed. Oh. See, they just decided, let's just forget about that third part. Right? Forget about paying back the money borrowed. We have not paid back a debt since like 1971. Haven't run a trade surplus since 1972. These are facts. These are facts. But now, here's what we're learning. The second part of that. So think about this. We can fix it by printing money. Okay? And then when things get too good, we can slow it down by raising the rates. That's what they told us, right? Well, we went 15 years where, according to them, not me, according to them, we didn't have a recession, right? We had no bad time. but rates were at 0. And now, think about this. The raising of the rates hasn't had the effect that they were hoping for. And now they're lowering rates, but yet the rates keep going higher. So here's the facts, really. The third part, if you're not going to do the third part, which is the most important part. It's like the Seinfeld episode. Remember the Seinfeld episode where Jerry makes the reservation at the rental car? And then he gets to the counter and they tell him, well, we don't have a car. And Jerry's like, but I made a reservation. And the lady's like, yes, you did, but we don't have the car. You know, but isn't that the most important part about making the reservation, is actually making sure that the car will be there for when I get there? Well, guess what the most important part about our financial system was? You got to pay it back. And if you don't pay it back, eventually you make the first two things become untrue. Now all of a sudden, we got to borrow trillions of dollars just to pretend that we're going to have a good time, right? And it looks like interest rates, doesn't matter, they raise them, they lower them, they're doing, and it's not having any effect. Yeah, the thing is broken. That's why we keep telling you, get some more gold and silver put away. That's all. If you haven't started, start now, right, Jason? That's it.
Yeah. Let me do a quick little, because we always do the cow and the $20 gold piece. Let's do this. Let's do silver for a minute. A little over 20 years ago, in the early 2000s, let's say you have two brothers. They're both going to save $5,000. Now, you could get a silver eagle, a 1-ounce silver eagle, for, you could probably, at some point, you could have got one for right around $5. Let's just say $5. I'm sure it might have been a little more most sometimes, but maybe a little less. And so the one brother just puts the $5,000 in a savings account, which was drawing almost no interest. And the other brother puts the $5,000 into 1,000 silver eagles, Joe, because at $5 each, that's two. The guy buys two monster boxes. Can you imagine that, Joe? Two monster boxes for $5,000. Fast forward to today, both the brothers need to buy a new car. It's time to cash in the savings, right? The one brother who's had it in a savings account for 20 years, I don't know, but Joe, maybe I don't think he could even double his money. Let's just say $7,000.
I was going to say maybe $6,000 or $7,000. Maybe.
Let's go $7,000. You can't even buy a used car. The other brother, if you were to sell his silver eagles below spot at $30, because silver spot's almost is between 50 and 31.
Yeah, almost $31 right now.
$30,000 and he could sell those silver eagles for. He can buy the new car. He probably could have bought the new car back in the early 2000s. Probably not a really nice one, but $5,000 got you a lot more car back in 2003, right? And that's what savings. That is a savings. It doesn't make you rich. It doesn't do. It's not some fantastic meme coin or stock, but man, if you want your savings protected so that when later you need to cash it in, this is the place to have it. You got to think long term. If you're getting into gold and silver because you want to buy it, you think it's going to go up and I'm going to sell it in 6 months, it doesn't really work that way. This is for people that are grounded, thoughtful, and long term, right, Joe? They know that they need to put some stuff away and hold it. This is exactly what Patriot's been selling for 30 years, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to look at it. If you want to get into a gold and silver IRA, call us. We can help you do it. And the great thing is, if you already have an IRA, it's some paperwork. There's no penalty. You don't have to pay tax. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Arlene will walk you through the whole entire process. But like Jason said, think about it. When I started, the first roll of silver eagles I ever sold, it's a true story, was $125. $125. And I even remember the lady I sold it to. That was like $6, right? $6.25 was the first Silver Eagle I had ever sold. And same thing with gold. $20 gold piece. First $20 gold piece I ever sold, it was like $350. That was the first one I had ever sold. And it's crazy to think. And you're telling me what used to cost $6 21, 22 years ago now costs over 30. Right? Yep. That's exactly what we're doing.
And the silver didn't go up. That's the whole point of this. The silver didn't do anything.
The same amount of silver. Yeah, right.
And the same amount of silver buys you the same amount of cow, right?
We didn't supersize it, right? You didn't, hey, you know what? Hey, instead of 1 ounce, we're going to give you 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces. No. What's changed?
It's the bankers and the politicians. The bankers and the politicians devalued the currency. That's what's happened, Joe.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the great devaluation looks like it's coming. Now, we do have some news today. So we had existing home sales. Man, I thought 2023 was a bad year. 2024, even worse. But December, there was an increase. So it was going to be even worse. But they said, hey, December, we had a good month. The worst homes, these are existing homes. So this is the big part of the market. The worst existing home sales going back to 1995 when the U.S. had 70 million less people in it. They're also saying that the average price, the median price, also higher. So think about this. The worst sales going back, forget about this millennial, going back to the 90s, and yet prices reached an all-time high. The median price, over $400,000 for the very first time. So here's the problem with the median price. Some of these homes sold for like $1, right? Because they owe back taxes, this, that, the other. Well, the cheapest home sold and the most expensive homes sold canceled each other out till you meet in the middle. The average price, holy smoke, you got to add like another $50,000, $60,000 to that. They're saying that the issue right now, Jason, obviously interest rates so high, homes so expensive. But I'm going to say this, the one thing that is changing, there's a lot more homes on the market today than there was at, let's say, this time last year. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. We'll see if rates keep going higher, which I think they're going to. Gosh, you got to think at some point the price will go down. But, then something like California happens, and who knows?
Yeah, there seems to be these little situations that seems to wipe out 1,000 homes here, and 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I mean, it was 1,000 homes in Louisville, and then I don't know Hawaii. I didn't even get the number on that. Is that 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 homes? And then in California, I don't even know what the number is. I know at one time it was 10,000. Is it more than 10,000? So that makes an effect. I mean, that's you don't think there's millions and millions and millions of people. Yeah, but it makes an effect, Joe. So we'll see if that's artificially keeping housing prices up because, Californians are moving out. Their population was already shrinking before this. So this should prop them up nice. I mean, and some of the homes, the expense on those homes, right, Joe? These aren't $500,000, $600,000 homes, which is kind of the median now. These are $12 million and $70 million homes and small homes for $1.5 million, right, Joe?
Yeah, well, that's the problem with California, right? There's no such thing as like a $500,000 home in California. But when we get back, listen, we've got a huge old dollar special coming up right now. Gold's up $22, $27.75. It's been a new record high was hit earlier this morning, $27.80. $1.87. Silver's up 28 cents right now, $30.66. As Donald Trump says, hey, I don't want to put tariffs on China, and we're negotiating right now to see what we can do. But the funny part is, I'm like, okay, but I'm way more worried about Mexico and Canada, because he's saying 25% February 1st. It's the 24th. Going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. But Trump says that he is talking to China, and it would be nice if he doesn't have to put the tariffs on them. We'll see how that works out.
Well, it kind of, if you think about it, Joe, it seems China's having big problems right now. Big problems. Yep. So he's talking Panama Canal. He's talking China, Canada, and
China does
Mexico.
run the Panama Canal, by the way. And what I mean by that is they're the ones that are doing all the logistics for Panama. They're the ones that are supplying all the equipment to unload all the ships and all that stuff, or get the ships through. They're the ones that are. I think that's what got Donald Trump kind of upset.
Well, is what he's doing trying to prop China and do direct instead of the indirect through Canada, Mexico? That's sure.
Back here, the Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on this Friday. Really quickly, got great sales. We've been having them really since before the end of 2024. Just great opportunities here. Right now, gold's up 23 now, 27. 27, just below the all-time record high here. It's going a lot higher. $20 gold pieces, still below spot here. Getting more expensive though. $27.75. You can pick up $20 gold for under spot. Silver up 43 cents now. $30.80. We haven't run the old dollars, the old Morgan and Peace dollars in a while. And, man, you go back to this time last year, prices were through the roof on the old dollars. We got a great opportunity today. Jason's I'm blind. Jason is holding up. That's one of the Morgan dollars. These things, I'm going to tell you they are AU. That's what I'm going to say. I'll tell you right now, most of them are going to be above that. So we'll say AU plus. Some of these, to be honest with you, would be gradable. And be mid-state. But that's not how we're going to sell them. Jason's holding all of these up. I've got 24 rolls where you're going to get 10 AU plus 1921 Morgans and 10 AU plus peace dollars. So it's a half and half roll, and I've got 24 of them. They're going to be $680 for a roll. $680, which is like $34. You're talking about, like, when you look at like a 1921 Morgan dollar, AU quality Morgan dollars, that would historically to be, well, I shouldn't say historically, but in the last since COVID, really, that's the cheapest they've been. At one point last year, AU 21 Morgan dollars were in the low 40s. AU peace dollars were in the high 30s, right? And of course, we're saying AU, and Jason, these things are spectacular. Jason's been flashing them up. If you're on YouTube or you're on Rumble, you can see what they look like. $680, but I've only got 24 rolls. You're going to get 10 of each at 800-951-0592. Wow, that last one you just put up, that was incredible. Wow. Jason, and we got them. They're live. We have them in Colorado. Phoenix, don't worry. Jason can ship them down here. But these are ready to go.
You literally could call me when we get off the air from the Half Empty Cup of Joe in Colorado and just come pick them up today. I got some work to do around here, and you could literally come pick them up and buy them. We want to say AU. There's going to be brilliant uncirculated ones. There's going to be really nice. A lot of them are just going to be uncirculated. They're nice, but we don't want to say uncirculated. Then you get a couple of peace dollars that are AU, and then have you unhappy. So we're selling them at an AU value. I'm going to make it a touch better, because the ones I'm showing Joe is a roll of 1882S. There was one roll that came with this. They're 1882S that are all mint state. Now, some of them are toned. So like this one, Joe, has the kind of what they consider the pretty rainbow toning on the bottom. You kind of see that?
Yep.
So, some of them have a little bit more. They're still pretty. They have a little darker toning. But they're all mint state. So we'll put one of these in the first 20 rolls. One 1882S will be at the top of the first 20 rolls for the first 20 that sell. So if somebody wants 20 rolls of AU, BU, Morgan, and peace dollars, we'll throw one each of these 1882S's, and they're mint state. The roll is marked MS63. They're not graded, but they easily could be better than a 63, Joe. They're really nice.
Yeah, these things are, if you're looking at, and always, right, when you're going back, 100-plus years, you don't get the condition. But here, for I love it when you can buy, it's always makes sense. You want to buy the best quality you can get for the least amount. And that's really what's happening today. To give you an idea, a BU pre-21 Morgan, which the first 20 rolls are going to have one of those in there, just my cost, $44. $44 is just my cost on one of those. So when you're sitting there thinking about what these rolls are worth and what they're going to be worth, I think this is going to be one of those, the year for silver, if you will. AU, we're going to say AU, but it really better, Morgan and Peace. They're mixed rolls. You're going to get 10 Peace, 10 Morgans, $680 at 800-951-0592. Jason.
Joe, our favorite real estate agent says to make sure to mark him down for one. So one less right there.
Okay, there you go. All right.
James wants one, so he's got one. So now there's only 19 with the extra coin in. So they will disappear pretty quick once people start to kind of think in their head, what are these coins? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah,
these are
a lot of these will be frosty white. Some of them are just going to be AU, but they're not cleaned. They're good quality coins from AU up.
There you go, 800-951-0592. Get a $20 gold piece, slap that on there, pick up some AU plus rolls of Morgan and Peace. $680. I just love the spot that we're in right now. And like I said, it doesn't seem like it matters what the news is, right? Japan comes out, says inflation's coming again, raise rates. Normally you think, okay, that's bad for gold, but it's not because it's inflation. Trump says, hey, I may not have to slap a tariff on China. I don't know. Okay, well, that would be good for inflation. It doesn't. No tariff doesn't matter. Raise rates, lower rates. Don't do anything. None of it matters. They broke the rules. I didn't break them. They broke them. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 1-800-951-0592. You better run to the phone. They're already, half of them are already gone, and I've just got another line lighting up here. If you want a shot at one of these, you got to do it right now. The mixed AU plus. Jason was holding them up. Wow. I've seen a lot of nice Morgan and Peace dollars in my day. You normally don't find them like that. $680. You're going to get 10 Morgan, 10 Peace.
And the Morgans, by the way, the Morgans are 1921 Morgans.
Correct.
The extra coin that we're throwing in is the one that's not. Some of the 1921 Morgans are just as good as the ones I was showing Joe earlier for the 1882 S's that I was showing him. That's going to be one per roll for the first 20 rolls. Some of the 21 Morgans, some of the Peace dollars also. They're having this mirror, mint state flash, something you definitely don't get with a clean coin or a circulated coin, Joe. So you're going to get some of them that are AU, but AU still means that it's almost uncirculated. This is a coin that didn't get spent around. It didn't turn gray. None of these coins are grayed and circulated. None of them. So there is some toning on some of them, but most of these are white, flashy coins, Joe.
Well, it's not so flashy. 2024, the amount of store closings spiking. They're saying that according to the latest data, major retailers closed over 7,325 stores in 2024. That is the biggest jump since COVID, right? Think about COVID. They closed down the whole dang place. By the way, not a great start to this year. Almost 2,000 closures. I'm not getting them all, but like last year, we knew about Party City, Big Lots, Walgreens, 7-Eleven, Macy's, Kohl's, but Family Dollar is another one. Remember Conn's, right? Conn's, they're completely out of business. 7-Eleven's announcing they're closing 148 more. We'll try to, keep track of those for you as they become available. And then more bad news, this I don't know, bird flu for, I don't know what to call it, egg prices, wholesale egg prices. I remember, I think it was sometime last year, like eggs got to $7, $8, $9, $10. Wholesale prices yesterday hit a new all-time high, taking out the peak, and they didn't even take it out by a little bit. The previous peak was $4.65. Yesterday, they hit $5.40 on egg prices. So you think about, well, gosh, if it's $5.40, let's say for a dozen, right? By the time it gets on the shelf at the grocery store, I mean, what are we going to be paying? And again, this doesn't include the I don't know, they got all the fancy titles, right? Cage-free and organic and get ready. Unfortunately, according to the latest, they expect wholesale egg prices to continue on. Now, this doesn't have anything to do, I don't think Donald Trump can demand egg prices. I demand they go down immediately. You start laying more eggs. I don't know, Jason. Just one of those things where, that's always used to be like a cheap thing, right? Hey, go get a dozen eggs. There's a couple bucks, right? You can stretch those things out. That's tough. That's tough if you're going to go and you got to pay $7, $8, $9, $10 for a dozen eggs, depending on what you're buying out there.
Well, I'll say this: we were talking about before we went to the special, and we hit the commercial. But we're talking about what's getting ready to happen and tariffs in China, right, Joe? And it makes me wonder if China doesn't end up with severe tariffs. Is if this thing's being negotiated to squeeze China for margin, let's just say, on what's being shipped in, you don't have to charge them tariffs if they will lower their prices. Trump wants to be a hero, right? If he gets them to say, well, you know what, you just have to make less profit, and I won't tariff you. If that's the negotiation he's making, this is a good – I'm not a big Trump fan. This is a great thing because then you can't snake it into Mexico or through Canada, and have a back door. China just said, China, you lower your margins or we up the tariffs. This would be a way to slow inflation, at least for a little while, right, Joe? If you can get the prices down,
yep.
And we know inflation is dollars being printed, but if you don't have to print as many dollars because the price of goods and services slow a little bit, then he's going to look like a hero. And
we'll see.
Deservedly so.
Yeah, I would like to know what the negotiation is. I know he mentioned fentanyl, right? But
right.
That doesn't really move the needle for me, right? But you're right.
It goes with the Panama Canal. It goes with the Panama Canal stuff, Joe, doesn't it?
So we'll see. We'll see. That you know what? That could be a very good thing. 800-951-0592. I will update you in the next break. If we have any more of these AU plus Morgan and Peace dollars left. We did get consumer sentiment out today. They're saying inflation is the new worry. Concerns over the trajectory of inflation. Consumers' beliefs about policies like tariffs. The headline number. The first month-over-month decline in the consumer feelings in 6 months. I got a feeling there may have been a lot of Democrats in that category. But I think the consumers got it right. Yeah, get ready. Things are going to cost more for quite a while. Just ask Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. We are down to the last 7 rolls of the mixed Morgan and Peace AU plus and mostly plus.
And only 3 of them. Only 3 of them are going to have one of those 1882 S's in it because we only had 20 of those. So of the 7 that are left, only 3 will have that one really nice, maybe slightly toned mint state 1882S Morgan dollar in there, Joe.
Yeah, you think about them pre-21 more. Yeah, all the Morgans are 21s with the exception of that. You're going to the first 20 get one of the pre-1921 and 1882S. Just my cost on that. Now, and I'm not ungraded, right? AUB $44. So yeah, they're $680 for the roll. There's only 7 left. Jason flashed these things up. These things are awesome. In addition to that, I do have 5 rolls of all peace dollars. Same thing. AU plus these things are gorgeous. Those are going to be $670. So you're going to save $10 because you won't get any Morgans in it. You'll just get the peace dollars in it. But I've got 7 mixed rolls. That's $680. And remember, these things are spectacular. $680. 10 spectacular AU plus and mostly plus peace dollars, and then 1921 Morgan dollars. You get half and half at $680. I only got 7 rolls of those. 5 rolls of all peace dollars. Again, AU plus and really plus at $670 at 800-951-0592 and $20 gold pieces, $27.75 as again right there, right below spots right at the all-time record high. And more breaking news. Boy, Donald Trump, listen, I can't wait for next week, right? I got to rest up here. He says that he's going to recommend ending FEMA before he's getting ready to go out to California. I'll say this. I'm giving that up. I mean, I don't know an organization that's done a worse job than FEMA, right? I mean, it's about time. You know what? I'll say this. It's about time. I wish we could do this with the Federal Reserve. Hey, you come out on TV and you make all your predictions and you tell us this and you tell us that. Hey, if you're always wrong, you're fired, right? We got to get the you're fired back. So either number one, you start telling the truth, right? Or let's get somebody in there that will, because this nonsense of we can control the economy by lowering and raising interest rates, Jason, the whole thing's coming undone.
Yeah, and economically, things have been unraveling for decades in reality. But in 2019, Joe, what had been kicked down the road, the can that was kicked down the road from the housing crisis was coming unraveled in 2019. Had another emergency, that whole COVID thing happened just magically in time. And what are we setting up for this time, right, Joe? What is heading our way this year or maybe next year, right?
Those wildfires and those hurricanes. Climate change is coming. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, guess what? We're coming right back with the half-empty cup. It's going to be another great one. Join us there.